in your data. Now, how many of you know there is like substantial savings and risk sitting in procurement and contractual data, but you just never have time to do anything? And if you're a kind of mid to large organization, I'm certain most of you already have tons of data, like procurement data, supplier lists, invoices, contracts sitting around the organization across different teams. Problem isn't access, it's that no one has the time or the capacity to actually interrogate the data properly. So what happens in practice is there is like substantial savings gets missed, masses of overspend, risk sits buried in contracts, and decisions get made on like partial visibility. And right now, there are savings sitting in your data that you're just not seeing, and no one's looking hard enough. And it's not that it's not that they don't want to, it's that because teams just aren't able to find the time to do that repetition and look through all that data. They just don't have the time. And in organizations we work with, when we run this kind of intelligence properly, that I'm going to show you, I'm just going to show you a quick demo. We don't struggle to find stuff. We usually find multiple things really, really quickly. So which means that this isn't about whether this works for you. It's like it's already currently sitting in your data that no one has ever, no one's seen yet. My name is Laura Chattington. It's really good that you're here. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm not going to be talking today about like cool AI tools or like big, expensive AI transformation programs. I'm going to show you how to take what you already have and surface like savings, risks, and issues in minutes. And a bit of background is like I work with organizations really to unlock budget, reclaim time, and really make better decisions by embedding AI into existing workflows. And just to kind of ground this, in procurement data, it's spread across systems. It's not always clean. There are duplicates, there are inconsistencies, there are pricing variations, contracts sitting in folders. Maybe there aren't even contracts, maybe it's just invoices, and it's difficult to review anything consistently. So instead of adding more process and more complication and more stuff, let me show you what happens when we apply AI to these exact situations. And this is the part where most people expect this to get like really complicated. It doesn't. And before I show you, how long does it take you to go through how long would it take to go through the last 12 months of procurement data, like to look for substantial savings? If you ever do it, right? Probably lots of time you don't do it. And where is the risk sitting in your operations? Where is the risk? And if I could take your existing procurement data, even if it's messy, and in less than a minute identify like duplicate suppliers, unusual spend patterns, pricing inconsistencies, and immediate cost saving opportunities, that would change things pretty quickly, right? So I'm going to share my screen and do a really quick demo. Ooh, hold on a sec. I've gone, right, share my screen. Sorry, I went really big then. Let's just go, here we go, right. And you'll be able to see it's like it's a simple demo showing like procurement intelligence, right? And I'm going to do the search over all areas and across the 12 months. And the AI is looking to where you can save money, identify like legal or compliance risks, and spend in supplier detail so that you can compress like hours or weeks or months of time into several days. And it's going to read the data, prioritize the issues, work out what the trade-offs are, and have recommendations and resilience and board provide board reports. And this isn't it's not just running some Excel spreadsheet with cool pivot tables. It's actually like building a narrative, prioritizing as you would if someone was sitting in your team doing this work for you. So we're going to generate the intelligence pack, procurement intelligence pack. It's looking at 12 months. It's building prioritizing the issues and saving opportunities. it's actually a live AI. It's live AI running on with an API running in real time. Okay, so in this example data of nearly £1 million spend, it's identified like 80 to 120K worth of budget, with 5 risks identified and hours of saved time. And it's looking at things like single supplier dependency, duplicate routes, inefficient in small order patterns. Right, this is actually for urgent healthcare, this data set. So inefficiency in small, people ordering the same thing over and over again without getting those economies of scale. Misaligned bulk versus small order economics. So it's looking for potential for savings identified, lots of time you spend identifying risks, excessive dependency risk, impacts budgets, non-compliant, there may be some compliance issues, and looking at some of the trade-offs as well, right? Because you don't, relationships with suppliers is important, and looking at some of those trade-offs and actually putting together that board pack. So, and you can, and just really quickly, you could be like looking at spend, and it might be that you want to look at Q4, for instance. So it's actually running, and this is working live across everything. And it's just yeah, boom, 12 seconds. And it's giving you that data output again. So it's potential savings because it's over a quarter, looking at a specific stream, 4 risks identified, 24 hours, saves you loads of time, right? Potential savings identified, the risks that you should be knowledgeable about, spending insights, and trade-offs, narratives, and recommendations. Okay, so that's kind of like really, really, really simple, straightforward AI, plugged into what you're already doing. And it's not an expensive system. It's like your data interrogated properly. And for most teams, even finding like 1 or 2 of these issues, manually takes hours. And it's really about getting the return. The return is like the savings that are sitting there and reduced risk. So the question is, how much in time where, how much in times where sort of budgets are being squeezed from every direction in this kind of uncertain world that we're living in, how much is currently sitting in your data that nobody's seeing? And that's just procurement. And next time we're going to be looking at contracts, but how much, is currently sitting in your data that you're not seeing, and how you can use AI to really speed that up in a matter of seconds. I'll see you.